Hello, my name is Michael. Welcome to Coffee English. Today, I want to share something very important with you. This video will help you understand why learning English feels easy for some people and difficult for others. More importantly, it will show you how to use your native language as a superpower for learning English faster. By the end of this story, you'll know exactly how your background language affects your English learning journey. You'll discover practical techniques that work specifically for speakers of your native language. And you'll feel more confident about your English learning path. This isn't just theory. These are real strategies based on language learning research. So let's begin this inspiring journey together. Here's an interesting scientific fact that might surprise you. Did you know that babies can distinguish between all the sounds of human language? A 6-month-old baby from China can hear the difference between English L and R sounds perfectly. But by their first birthday, they lose this ability. Their brain becomes specialized for the sounds of their native language. This is called neural commitment. It's like a path in the forest. The more you walk on one path, the deeper it becomes. Other paths become harder to see and use. This is why adult language learning feels challenging. But here's the exciting part. Those other paths are still there. They're just hidden under the leaves. With the right techniques, you can clear those paths again. Your brain is more flexible than you think. Scientists call this neuroplasticity. It means your brain can change and adapt throughout your entire life. So the question isn't whether you can learn English well. The question is, how can you use your native language to make English learning easier? Let me share with you 4 powerful insights about how your native language affects English learning. Each insight comes with practical techniques you can use today. Insight number 1. Language distance determines learning speed. Languages are like countries on a map. Some countries are neighbors, others are on different continents. The closer your native language is to English, the faster you'll learn. But distance doesn't mean impossible. It just means you need different strategies. Let me explain this with real examples. If you speak Spanish, Italian, or French, you have what we call linguistic advantage. These languages share thousands of words with English. Hospital in Spanish is hospital in English. Animal in Italian is animal in English. Restaurant in French is restaurant in English. Speakers of these languages already know thousands of English words without realizing it. But if you speak Mandarin, Japanese, or Arabic, you have linguistic distance. This means fewer shared words and different grammar patterns. Does this make learning impossible? Absolutely not. It just means you need to work smarter, not harder. Here's your first practical technique, the bridge method. Find words that are similar between your language and English. Write them down. Use them as bridges to remember new English words. For example, Russian speakers know the word problema, which helps them remember problem in English. Korean speakers know computer in their language, which is very similar to English. Even languages that seem very different have borrowed words from English. Japanese has borrowed computer as computer. Arabic has borrowed computer as computer. Find these bridges in your language. They will make vocabulary learning much faster. Insight number 2. Your native grammar is both friend and enemy. Every language has its own grammar system. This system lives in your brain like a computer program. When you learn English, you're trying to install a new program. Sometimes the old program helps, sometimes it creates conflicts. Let me give you specific examples. Spanish speakers often say, "I am having 25 years old," instead of "I am 25 years old." This happens because Spanish uses have for age. Russian speakers might say, "I am go to work," instead of "I go to work." This happens because Russian doesn't use am is are the same way. Chinese speakers often forget articles like a and the. This happens because Chinese doesn't use articles. Are these mistakes permanent? No way. They're just interference patterns. Here's your second practical technique, the interference map. Make a list of grammar mistakes you make often. For each mistake, write the correct English form. Then write why you make this mistake. What rule from your native language causes this error? Once you understand the pattern, you can fix it. For example, if you're a Spanish speaker and you always forget the S in third-person singular. Wrong, he work every day. Right, he works every day. Why Spanish doesn't add S to verbs in third person? Create a mental note. In English, adds to verbs with he, she, it. Practice this one rule until it becomes automatic. Then move to the next interference pattern. This systematic approach works much better than random practice. Insight number 3. Your native sounds create your English accent. Every language uses different mouth positions for sounds. These positions become habits. When you speak English, your mouth wants to use familiar positions. This creates your accent. But accent isn't just about sounding native. It's about being understood clearly. Some sound differences change meaning. For example, ship and sheep are different words. If you say them the same way, people might be confused. Let me share the most common sound challenges by language group. Spanish speakers often replace V with B sound. Very sounds like berry. Vacation sounds like vacation. Japanese speakers mix L and R sounds. Rice sounds like lice. Light sounds like right. German speakers make W sound like V. Water sounds like Vader. Work sounds like Vork. Arabic speakers add vowels to consonant clusters. A street sounds like sea-treat. Strong sounds like sea-trong. Chinese speakers drop final consonants. Good sounds like goo. Book sounds like boo. Here's your third practical technique, the mirror method. Stand in front of a mirror. Watch your mouth when you speak English. Compare it to native speakers on YouTube. Focus on one sound at a time. Don't try to fix everything at once. Choose the sound that causes the most misunderstanding. Practice it for 1 week. Use the shadowing technique. Find a YouTube video with clear pronunciation. Play a sentence, pause, repeat exactly what you heard. Watch your mouth in the mirror. Make it match the native speaker's mouth position. Do this for 10 minutes every day. After 1 week, move to the next sound. In 3 months, you'll notice a huge improvement. Insight number 4. Your native reading system affects English reading speed. Reading is not just about knowing words. It's about how your brain processes written information. Different languages train your brain in different ways. English reads from left to right. Arabic reads from right to left. Chinese can read from top to bottom. These different patterns affect how you read English, but there's more. Some languages give you more clues about pronunciation. Spanish spelling is very regular. If you see a Spanish word, you know exactly how to say it. English spelling is less regular. Rough, cough, through, and though all end in aw. But they sound completely different. This makes English reading challenging for everyone. But speakers of regular languages find it extra difficult. Here's your fourth practical technique, the chunk reading method. Don't read English word by word. Read in chunks of meaning. For example, don't read, "The weather is very nice today." Instead read, "The weather is very nice today." This helps your brain process meaning faster. It also helps with pronunciation. When you read chunks, you naturally use English rhythm and stress patterns. Start with short chunks. As you improve, make the chunks longer. Practice with simple texts first. Children's books are perfect for this. They have simple sentence structures and common words. Don't feel embarrassed about reading simple texts. Even advanced learners benefit from this practice. Also, use the technique called extensive reading. Read many easy texts instead of few difficult texts. This builds your English reading brain faster. Your brain needs to see thousands of English word patterns. Easy texts give you these patterns without stress. When you read without stress, you learn faster. Bonus insight: your native language is your secret weapon. Here's something most teachers don't tell you. Your native language isn't just a challenge for English learning. It's also a powerful tool. You can use it to learn English faster. This technique is called comparative learning. When you learn a new English word, think about your native language. Does your language have a similar word? Does it have the opposite meaning? Does it have a related concept? This creates multiple memory connections. Multiple connections mean stronger memory. For example, if you're learning the word stubborn in English, Spanish speakers can think of turco. Russian speakers can think of upryami. Arabic speakers can think of anid. Now you have two memory paths to the same meaning. This makes the word easier to remember and use. You can also use your native language for grammar explanations. When you learn English present perfect, compare it to your native language. How does your language express the same idea? This comparison helps you understand the concept better. But be careful. Use your native language as a bridge, not a crutch. The goal is to think in English eventually. Use native language comparisons for understanding. Then practice thinking directly in English. Advanced technique, the polyglot method. Here's one more advanced technique that really works. It's called the polyglot method. Many successful language learners use this approach. Instead of avoiding your native language, embrace it. Create connections between English and your native language, but also create connections between English and any other languages you know. Even if you only know a few words in other languages, this helps. The more connections you make, the stronger your memory becomes. For example, if you know the word water in English, Spanish agua, and German Wasser, you have 3 memory paths. This makes all 3 words easier to remember. Your brain loves patterns and connections. The more you give it, the better it works. This is why people who speak multiple languages learn new languages faster. They have more connection points in their brain. But you don't need to be a polyglot to use this technique. Even knowing a few words in different languages helps. Start collecting words that mean the same thing in different languages. Make a personal dictionary of connections. This will supercharge your English learning. The truth about perfect pronunciation. Let me share an important truth about pronunciation. You don't need to sound exactly like a native speaker. What you need is clear communication. There are many different English accents around the world. British English sounds different from American English. Australian English sounds different from Canadian English. Indian English sounds different from South African English. All of these are correct and beautiful. Your accent is part of your identity. It tells people where you come from. It's something to be proud of, not ashamed of. The goal is not to eliminate your accent. The goal is to speak clearly so people understand you. Focus on sounds that change meaning. These are called phonemes. When you change these sounds, you change the meaning of words. For example, ship and sheep are different because of one sound. Bit and beat are different because of one sound. Practice these important sound differences. But don't worry about sounding exactly like a native speaker. Many non-native speakers are easier to understand than native speakers. They speak more slowly and clearly. They use simpler vocabulary. They are more careful with grammar. These are all advantages, not disadvantages. Now I want to share today's useful phrase with you. This is something I do in every lesson to help you remember key concepts. Today's phrase comes from the famous polyglot Benny Lewis. He said, "You don't need perfect grammar to communicate perfectly." This phrase is perfect for today's topic. Many learners worry too much about making mistakes. They think their native language interference makes them bad English speakers, but this isn't true. Communication is about sharing ideas, not perfect grammar. Native speakers make grammar mistakes too. They say, "Me and John went to the store," instead of "John and I went to the store." They end sentences with prepositions. They use double negatives in informal speech. But everyone understands them perfectly. Your goal is clear communication, not grammatical perfection. Here's how to use this phrase in your learning. When you're afraid to speak because your grammar isn't perfect, remember, you don't need perfect grammar to communicate perfectly. When someone corrects a small mistake, think, you don't need perfect grammar to communicate perfectly. This phrase will give you confidence to practice more. And practice is the only way to improve. Let's practice saying this phrase together. So let's summarize what we've learned today. Your native language affects your English learning in 4 main ways. First, language distance determines your learning speed. But distance doesn't mean impossible. It just means you need different strategies. Second, your native grammar creates interference patterns. Map these patterns and fix them systematically. Third, your native sounds create your accent. Use the mirror method to improve pronunciation. Fourth, your native reading system affects English reading speed. Use chunk reading to build your English reading brain. Remember, your native language is not your enemy. It's a tool you can use to learn English faster. The key is understanding how it affects your learning. Then you can work with it, not against it. Here's my question for you. What's the biggest challenge you face because of your native language? Is it pronunciation? grammar interference, vocabulary, reading speed. Leave a comment below and share your experience. Your challenges might help other learners too. If this lesson helped you understand something new about your English learning journey, please give it a thumbs up. Share this video with friends who are also learning English. When we support each other, we all learn faster. And don't forget to subscribe for more practical English learning strategies. Remember, you don't need perfect grammar to communicate perfectly. Your native language is your friend, not your enemy. Use it wisely, and your English will improve faster than you ever imagined. Thank you for joining me on this learning journey today. I hope you feel more confident about your English learning path. Remember, every language learner faces challenges. But now you have the tools to overcome them. Your native language is unique. Your learning journey is unique. Embrace both, and you'll achieve amazing results. I'm Michael, and I believe in your English learning success. Keep practicing, keep learning, and keep believing in yourself. See you next time.